Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Yeah, hey everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Hypecast.
Hypecast. Isn't that what Dave does?
He
just calls it out. He just keeps
sort of
repeating words.
He kind of goblins his way through it.
He does the laziest hype man shit I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, he really does.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to do without one of us eating something vile and reprehensible throughout the course of this podcast.
I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be real tough. I'm your co-host Tom Ryman,
And I'm your guest host, Adam Ganser.
Yeah, it's a Daveless week here, and I'm really not sure how the show is going to go.
I don't know either.
It may be less than 90 minutes this time.
It could be. We also might not die of a sugar coma in the middle. Have to be resuscitated like that monster. Enjoy your time at summer camp, Dave.
Dave's off at camp.
That tickles me.
The
idea of him at camp tickles
He's
me.
literally off at camp.
Can you imagine him doing an obstacle course or
No.
telling ghost stories? God, that makes me
I
happy.
can imagine him sitting around the campfire with ghost stories.
I
Yeah,
can see that too.
But no,
That would really
he's-
tickle me.
He's watching. He's sitting on a chair watching the people do the obstacle course. He's not doing that.
I'd like to see him though. That would really cheer me up. It really
doing
provide
that
a bright
shit.
spot in this dark time in America.
Oh man.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. Oof. No, we're not gonna get into that. That's not what we talk about here.
You say that, and yet the first trailer we're going to talk about,
That's
I
true.
think, is almost as problematic.
Yeah, okay, so we got a bunch of trailers.
Yeah.
The first one is the Fantastic Beasts 2, The Crimes
Yeah.
of Grindelwald.
Yeah, that just went all in on Johnny Depp.
This is a Depp-heavy
Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah, they really depped the shit out of this.
I'm not sure about that decision.
What can you do? I mean, you already paid for it.
Yeah,
You know, you may as well hope that half of America doesn't believe that he did any of the things that he did.
Right.
Which is not an unreasonable assumption.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe it just hasn't reached them.
Or they don't care.
Or they don't care. That's true. I didn't see the first one, so...
It's okay. So I don't need more Harry Potter, but I do like Harry Potter. I've read all the books.
I have nothing... I haven't read all the books. I've seen all the movies.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the more important film works in our time,
Sure.
honestly. You know, it's one of the more original film works in our time. And this isn't bad. It just isn't great. It's fine.
I get the thing again. My opinion is going to be a little kind of cut me a little bit of a brick. I haven't seen the first film, so
Sure.
I realize my opinion's shouldn't be carried with an equal weight to somebody who has seen the
Sure.
original film. But boy, this trailer just seems like it doesn't seem like Harry Potter at all.
What makes you say that?
It seems like a fairly generic I'm searching for the
fantasy,
word.
just fantasy.
Yeah,
movie?
it seems like any number of these like movies that come out where it's like either Special Boy or Special Girl or like anything where like Valerian or like it just seems very.
It seems like all the things that have been imitating Harry Potter for the last 15 years.
It seems very Star Wars prequel.
Yeah.
It seems very.
Well, this is imitating Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So it is exactly what it seems like. A thing imitating Harry Potter.
And it's none of the things. I don't think it's none of the things that anybody liked about Harry Potter, right?
I think Harry Potter was fun. Like, that was the number one thing. I know that by the end it was kind of a dark adventure tale.
It got pretty somber.
But that's okay because you had the good times. There was like 4 or 5 movies of good times.
Yeah.
You know, this has never had any good times. Like the first one is playful, but it's it's whatever. You know, it takes place in America in like the 20s, I want to say, or the 30s.
Oh, the first one of these. Okay.
Correct. And that's fine. I like the side character who clearly returns. This American. I want to say he's a baker. I want to say he becomes a baker in this movie.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Sure.
In the first one. Here's let me tell you what my problem with it is as a podophile, as I can pose as a podophile.
Sure.
Jude Law cannot be Albus Dumbledore.
Why?
First of all, he's been young pope, and I feel like he needs to be excommunicated from movies for that alone, because that was garbage. That was a garbage series.
It's
never forget.
I have not seen it.
It was garbage. They had a bad cardinal that had a black cancerous mole on his face, so you knew he was evil. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. Subtlety is a fine thing.
Sure.
Jude Law is such a skeevy, scheming fellow.
You think?
Yes. Name a movie where he was like good, wholesome character.
Sky Captain.
Didn't see that. That's not a movie.
The Sherlock Holmes movies.
Is he good and wholesome in those movies?
He's Dr. Watson.
I think of Jude Law as being somewhere between his character in Road to Perdition.
Sure.
Who is let's call him a maniac photographer / hitman.
He's a real ghoul.
Yeah.
No.
And like his upside is his character from that movie with Matt Damon where Matt Damon kills him.
Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yes, that's his upside, where he's charming, but he's still kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah,
You know,
I can
like
see that.
a handsome piece of shit. So Albus Dumbledore is, let's call him what he is. He's a Christ.
Yes,
he's a Christ imitation.
He's the Aslan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Jude Law is none of that. Like, doesn't have any of those qualities at all. He's not noble. He's not honest. He's not.
Well, I mean, he also did that Alfie remake. So and then
That
like
was good. I thought.
he's-
Well, back then I thought. It was
Sure.
good. I don't know what I would think now, but I thought it was good when it came
he's
out.
Gigolo Joe in AI. So it's like what you're telling.
Thank you for that, Paul.
Yeah,
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. So it's like to me, it's the joke we just kept making in the cracked offices about young Pope. It's like, Dumbledore fucks.
Yeah, Dumbledore fucks.
Yeah,
exactly.
Look at him.
That's
He's
exactly what it is.
smoldering.
Right. He's smoldering.
Yeah.
Do I need it? I don't need it. Why do I need more Dumbledore? I know that everyone's like, why? Why am I saying that? Because I know what happens to Dumbledore. I know who he becomes.
Mm-hmm.
I know, because of the Harry Potter story, what it took to make Albus Dumbledore. I know this.
Yeah.
So what am I getting out of this narratively? Just the actually seeing it? I'm just seeing the thing I already know that happened?
I mean, that's pretty much what the prequels are. Right?
That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupid. You know what you could have done? Just theories. Here's what we could have done. We could have had a whole other magic world in America at the same time as Harry Potter. And they just never intersected.
Wasn't that what they do on like Pottermore?
I don't know what they do on Pottermore other than sort us into houses, and I'm a Ravenclaw forever, apparently. I've done like 15 fake accounts, always Ravenclaw. Cannot stop being Ravenclaw.
Well, you also got a brown bear for your Patronus.
Well, yeah. That's perfect.
I had a fucking weasel.
They were giving those weasels away like hotcakes,
They were
though.
throwing those weasels
I want to say
out.
Bridget got a weasel, too.
Bridget got a stoat, which is basically a weasel.
Yeah, it was like a fancy
or
weasel.
a shrew,
Yeah,
I think.
Sure. You know, I got a brown
was
bear
brutal.
because this was a window into truth.
Well, you were like so like, oh, this is dumb.
I
And
thought it was dumb.
as soon as you got that brown bear, you were on board. You're like, this,
I became
this is
Baloo.
cool.
I became Baloo, literally.
Yeah.
Just tossing spined fruit into my mouth.
Yep.
Really enjoying
Just
myself.
humming a song. Well, we're all getting some brutal news.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of you are being reduced to the lowest of the animal kingdom.
And weasels and trout.
It was Teresa got a trout, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like, what do you do as a trout?
Man,
That's barely even an animal.
you're barely alive. Fish.
That's exactly, yeah, right. You armored fuck, just
well,
swimming through the water.
That's it. That's all you do.
Yeah. I don't want to shit on things for being prequels, because that's stupid. But, like, I'm shitting on this because there isn't anything to it prequel-wise that is like, oh, I'm really excited about it.
Right. It's not like from watching all the movies, and they may have mentioned it.
Sure.
I don't know who the hell Grindelwald is.
Oh, no, he's
in the movies?
He's a big figure, especially in the books.
Okay.
This story is heavily flushed out in, I want to say, the 6th book. or
Okay.
the seventh book. Like, so it's not. This isn't out of nothing. This isn't just a copying imitation.
Okay,
it's prequel worthy.
I'm very casual Harry Potter fan. So this is like the equivalent of like the Star Wars prequels, where it's like the Clone Wars and Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight, where it's like they planted seeds. Like, I want to see that.
Correct. It is planted enough for Harry Potter fans. I mean, also, let's be honest, Harry Potter fans just want more Harry Potter, no matter
Of course,
what it is.
yeah.
And they had that play that they made, that the Cursed
Child, yeah.
That was all right. I thought that was okay.
Haven't seen it.
I don't think they made it. I think it's a play. Like, you can read it. I've read it, and I thought it was pretty all right. The problem with this story is we know how it ends because of the books.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's the problem with
just-
prequels.
Right, and it's just an imitation of a thing we saw.
Right, but it's all adults, and I feel like
Right.
that misses something.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Like, we don't like, that's what part of what made Harry Potter fun, at least for me. And I know, talking to people who actually grew up reading the books, because I was already in college when
Yes.
the first movie came out,
Right.
and almost out of high school when the first book came out. But like, you know, like Marina talks about really sitting at home as a little girl waiting to see if a Hogwarts owl would come. So it's like,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
So she really connected to it.
yeah, and I think I'm sure she's not the only person who was waiting for their owl. It just feels weird to me to do a Harry Potter movie that this doesn't have any kids in it. I don't know.
That's an issue.
That's probably me just being a casual fan.
No.
That's like, no, the Harry Potter was about kids in school, so
It's funny because I would like, this is one of those arguments, sort of like where you and I would try to have it both ways. Because I'm criticizing Star Wars for being exactly the same as Star Wars has already been. These new Star Wars sequels and the prequels, it's like they're just the same. You're criticizing, and probably rightly, this new Harry Potter trilogy, I think, or whatever it's going to be.
God damn, I feel like they're talking about 5 movies.
Maybe it's 5. You're criticizing it for not being Harry Potter enough, and like in terms of having kids and being about kids and stuff. And it's like, man, we really do seem like entitled assholes, don't we? Because like,
Well, I'm trying to identify, like, in the and of course this is, didn't see the first one. I'm just talking about a trailer. I don't see the thread there. Like, I don't see what makes it Harry Potter apart from the fact that they're using magic.
well, the characters and
I don't know any of those characters.
Well, Dumbledore, you know.
That's true, Dumbledore.
Dumbledore will hook you right in, presumably.
With his little bowler hat
I mean, who doesn't love a bowler
and his
hat?
beard.
How many times have you seen Tom's Crown Affair? Best part of that movie is the fucking bowler hats. Don't tell me it isn't, because it is. I've seen it. It's a wonderful film.
I have seen Tom's Crown Affair one time.
Well, there's a lot of bowler hats.
There were a lot of bowler hats in that viewing.
They
of
charmed
Tom's
the
Crown
shit
Affair.
out of me in the 90s.
They were dazzling.
They really were. I don't care about this. We've belabored it. I think that Harry Potter is not a universe that I care enough about on its own merits, that just being in the same general world is enough.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like that's the problem I'm having.
in the case of Star Wars, I kind of think it is enough. Like, I think the Star Wars universe is enough that if we just went to some other planet and chased some other people, I would be interested.
It's like what you're talking about. It is enough, but they're scared that it's not enough. So they're just remaking the same thing with all the same characters. Whereas Harry Potter is like, let's
Kinda
go
not
all
enough.
in on these a whole new cast of characters.
Right, and like one of the things that's fun about Harry Potter is like hiding in the plain sight of every day now is magic, right? That's an ongoing subconscious thing that's great about Harry Potter. When you put it back in the 20s in America, we don't relate to any piece of it. We don't relate to the present day-ness of that world because it was in the 20s.
Yeah.
We don't relate to the American-ness of it because it's not a contemporary America, and we don't relate to the magic part of it because magic is fucking fake. You know what I mean? So like,
Because magic is not real.
so like, it's hard to be like, it's hard. It doesn't suck you in the same amount. It's not a
That's
personal
true.
draw,
It's not.
You know?
Yeah, well, you don't have that. What you have with Harry Potter, where it's like the kid. It's not only being a kid and being introduced into this larger world, but it's like you're being introduced to this larger world of magic through.
Right. That's the lens through which we all got excited about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know, and it's missing that. I do like that it's a capery kind of movie, or I hope it gets more capery. Like the first one was,
it doesn't seem capery to me.
It should be. That's what it should
seems
be.
like another big battle movie, which is another reason why I don't care about it.
I don't want battles in Harry Potter because I've seen it and they did it great. I am more interested in like, give me the crime thriller version of it. I could do that. I could get on board for that. But I just like crime thrillers. That's like one of my favorite genres.
Sure.
But I could see it. I could see that. I'd really enjoy
I
it.
would watch that.
Yeah, I would enjoy that.
So yeah, I don't know. That's Fantastic Beasts 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald.
And we've been 40. Right?
No joke.
Right? We just got real old.
Yeah.
Also, okay, so
I put a disclaimer at the beginning. It's like these two old bastards
Right.
are going to spend 15 minutes talking about Harry Potter
right, and just complaining about kids on their phones.
and complaining about how they can't relate to it.
Can I say that I think this Johnny Depp thing's a problem.
Yes.
I do think it's a problem.
His presence is an issue.
Yeah, I think so. I always have mixed feelings about separating an artist from their work. I have mixed feelings about that. Those are conversations we have all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me to publicly talk about, but I would say that in this case, this guy has clearly assaulted people, and and we're in a time where we're handling that culturally.
Yeah.
And it's weird that this is immune from that. That's strange.
It'll be immune as long as, they're going to keep putting him in Pirates. He's going to be immune to it until he stops making money.
Well, the problem is that he also is sort of like this. Harry Potter's the kind of thing that really doesn't fail, at least not yet. We haven't seen Harry Potter flop. It's such a given commodity that in some ways putting Johnny Depp in it is like not a proof for anything to me.
Yeah, we didn't need to.
Right. It's not like
Look, there's nobody.
There's nobody indie drama and Johnny Depp's going to be in it, and like nobody might see this unless Johnny Depp's in it, and then it flops. That's
Right.
a different problem. This is like, it's going to be Harry Potter. By the way, Johnny Depp's in it, and like, okay, then people go see it, and it's like, see, Johnny Depp still killing at the box office. He must be fine. That's not what we proved by that.
No, and there's a false equivalence with the Pirates series.
Yeah,
too.
and like, I don't personally carry all the outrage against Johnny Depp. I just think it's wrong.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
one of
think
those.
This isn't right.
It's different from finding out that a guy is a piece of shit or an asshole,
Right.
and then finding out that a guy's an abuser,
Right.
Because then it's like, well, I can watch Bruce Willis movies and still enjoy it, knowing in my mind that he's a legendary asshole.
I mean, there'd be a lot of people not in this business if that was the criteria.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Of course, yeah.
But
So-
Johnny Depp crosses
Of course.
further down the line threshold. We
Yeah.
agree on that. And it's just kind of a bummer that this movie is like sort of daring us to take that more seriously than it's willing to.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that, movies.
It also
care more.
Didn't need to be him. From what I understand,
I mean,
he's Colin Farrell in disguise in the first film.
Which is like,
Just
have
be Colin Farrell.
Right, exactly.
Just-
Colin Farrell's wonderful.
we didn't need Johnny Depp.
Have you seen The Lobster?
No.
Okay. Everyone go see The fucking Lobster.
I've seen him Bruges.
Lobster is not in the same tone. I shouldn't equate the two. It's fun in a way that reminds me of how good he was in Bruges. He's fun in that movie in a way that reminds me of it. He also gained like 30 pounds. He's like overweight in it in a way that's like, oh yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, you really went for it.
Finger kiss
Yeah.
emoji.
No, it doesn't need to be Johnny Depp.
His
but
physical appearance is the best thing about True Detective season 2.
he's in.
His hair and mustache and bolo
Well,
tie.
they really didn't use him enough.
They didn't.
Like I know he was the main character of it, but like
Sort of.
kind of. But like they just had such a great character and a great performance on their hands for a story that didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, bummer.
Anyway.
Yeah, we got far afield on that.
We did. So we don't need Johnny Depp in Harry Potter movies.
No, I please movies take this stuff seriously enough that we don't have to make these kind of choices.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So,
Like we want movies to police themselves a little better.
Right.
Than they're willing to do.
so weird. It's not the same thing as like Pirates, where it's like, well, we don't want to make one without Johnny Depp. Where it's like
Right.
Harry Potter and Johnny Depp are not inseparable.
Well, not only that, it's Johnny Depp feels like he's in this category of too big to fail, like Trump. You know what I mean? Where it's just like these allegations, and I don't even know if it's even just allegations anymore. Depp, it might be worse. They don't touch him because he's too big of a deal for them to touch him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's. I don't want that in the world. That should never be true. Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't mean to get super political about
No.
it.
I understand. Let's move on to the next trailer.
Yeah.
What's the next trailer?
The next trailer is X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Talking
know.
about policing Hollywood.
I don't know. I mean, what's to hate about this in your mind?
Bryan Singer.
Oh God, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were talking about
We
that.
were talking about
It seems inescapable right now.
Jesus.
Yeah, it really does.
I didn't see Apocalypse because I heard it was bad.
I don't. When did X-Men lose you? When did you stop caring about X-Men?
X-Men: The Last Stand was very bad. That was the Brett Ratner one.
I saw the first three
Yep.
that were real time. I saw Days of Future Past.
You didn't see First Class.
No, First Class. I'm sorry, that's the one No, I've seen both of those. I've seen Days of Future Past and
Yeah,
First Class.
I really liked First Class.
I didn't care about either of those.
Oh, okay.
But I did see them.
Mm.
How many more have there been that I have not seen?
Apocalypse.
So I've only missed one X-Men movie?
Yes.
How the hell is that possible?
I don't know.
Like, that sounds like I'm lying. But I
Well,
know
I mean,
I'm
there
not.
were a bunch of Wolverine movies.
Oh, I didn't see any of those.
There were 3 Wolverine movies.
I bet they're fine. I'm sure Logan was good. I didn't watch it.
Logan is fine.
Yeah. What's the thing about this that's like worthy of the 6th or 8th X-Men movie?
Well, I know it's really like a Bryan Singer throwing his weight around because he was going to make The Last Stand, except he went off to do Superman Returns first, and he had a big idea for the Dark Phoenix storyline, like a lot of admittedly cool-looking storyboards and stuff. He's like, I'm going to come in, and because that's how they set up Dark Phoenix at the end of X2.
Sure.
But the studio didn't want to wait, so they brought in fucking Brett Ratner.
Boy, there's just no winning. There's no winning in this situation.
I think we've got one. I think Matthew Vaughn is the only non-garbage person to make an X-Men movie.
Well, there's a lot of filmmakers in the world, so I'm
That's
sure
true.
this is a solvable problem.
Right.
That's interesting. Well, you know what? It isn't interesting. Fuck this. Like, so these movies are existing because the director of the first couple movies is still interested in it? Is that
Yeah, well,
why?
that's what Days of Future Past was. They went in. It was Bryan Singer coming in because he made that one. Matthew Vaughn did First Class, and then that he didn't do anymore. Bryan Singer
Okay.
came back for Days of Future Past, and he retconned everything. He did the time travel thing to erase what happened in X-Men 3, the one that he didn't direct. So it's like, no, I'm going to fix this. And then he made Apocalypse, and now he's making Dark Phoenix, so he can be like, I'm going to do the Dark Phoenix movie that I wanted to make.
Okay, so forgive me. I probably read 15 X-Men comics in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I care about Dark Phoenix? What?
It's one of the better storylines,
Okay.
one of the more famous storylines.
I mean, I assume that.
by I believe Chris Claremont, who's
Okay.
one of the most like revered X-Men writers. It's a good storyline.
Okay. Enough that we're excited about a movie about it. We would be if it wasn't Bryan Singer.
A movie done right. I'm not loving the way this one works. The way this one looks.
I don't mind the visuals of it. They're fine.
No, yeah, the visuals look fine. It's just the location of it, because Dark Phoenix
Mm-hmm.
is this cosmic storyline. It's
Oh.
this world-destroying entity that's possessing Jean Grey or working through Jean Grey.
I'm just going to be honest with you. Every time you say that stuff, this cosmic stuff, I'm like, okay, so does this person belong in the Silver Surfer genre of Marvel Comics? Like, are they in that world? Like the Thanos and fucking...
And the Shi'ar, yep.
Okay.
Shi'ar are some aliens. Yeah, some alien shit.
Okay, so we're talking about sort of an intersection of different components of these worlds.
That was my. I mean, there were a lot of problems with X-Men: The Last Stand, but one of my main problems was how small scale it was.
Yeah, because I mean, if they're fighting the equivalent of Galactus or whatever the fuck.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, all right. I don't hate that. That's okay.
We're seeing a lot of just kind of the X-Men bombing around town in this one. Also, I feel like, it looks fine. Obviously, I can't, like, Bryan Singer knows how to make a movie not look like shit.
He's a professional filmmaker.
Yeah,
he's a very talented professional filmmaker.
Sure, he is.
Yeah. You can be a monster and be that.
You absolutely can. Yeah,
So.
you can be a monster and be a talented filmmaker.
We've seen that a few times now.
Oh yeah, there are several examples. So the movie looks pretty good. I like Sophie Turner as Jean Grey.
I'm a huge fan of her acting work in those last few seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Because I I am always a little skeptical of children who are cast as children and then grow up into adulthood. It's a different kind of acting usually.
Yeah, both of the Stark girls
have been very good.
Yeah,
yeah, they found some real talent there. So it's nice to see her do something different.
Yeah,
you know.
And I'm pretty sure she was in Apocalypse, but I didn't see Apocalypse.
She's got. I mean, again, the way that she was shot here was like, okay, this is she's got a cool look for this. Like, this is a good vibe for a character. You know,
Michael Fassbender as Magneto, which was of my favorite part of the last the First Class.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when this film takes place, but it seems like they're breezing through the decades pretty quickly, and he's just not aging appropriately because he's supposed to be like Magneto
50
was
now. 70?
At least he was played by Ian McKellen in the first movie,
which does take place in '98, right? Like it takes...
99, I think, because the movie came out in 2000.
And he was like what, 70 there?
He's an elderly man.
But not like 60 not like late middle age, like elderly, 70.
Yeah.
70 to me is that's
probably
elderly.
like around there because
Yeah.
he's supposed to be a Holocaust survivor. So
that but he was a child then. He was like 10 years old.
He's a teenager.
He was a teenager in the Holocaust?
Yeah, you see him very clearly as a young teenager.
So he's late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at. Okay.
So they, First Class was in the 1960s.
Okay.
Days of Future Past was the 70s. Apocalypse was the 80s. So if Dark Phoenix is either... It could still be in the 80s, in which case he's still a little too young.
Oh, he's 30 years away from what he's supposed to be.
Yeah, but if he's
Come on now.
But if we're in the 90s and Michael Fassbender still looks like Michael Fassbender, it's like
age his ass up.
You are not aging appropriately. And I think they handle it in the comics by saying something like, because Magneto would have to be unable to walk. He would be so old at this point. They're saying something about like how his mutation is keeping him from aging like a normal person, which fine, that's fine.
It's not fine, but let's continue.
I accept that explanation because
I do not. I am instantly furious about this bullshit.
I mean,
it makes me so angry.
The fact that it's integral to his character, which is why. Otherwise, how do you explain it?
I agree. How do you explain it? That is a real problem. One that I feel we should not be dealing with.
Sure,
that's how Adam feels. Also. This is just, I'm going to take us on a slight tangent here. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
It makes me angry that...
Let me tell you why I'm angry.
Let me tell you all the reasons why the anger is here. It's strange that we decided to do prequels in the 60s. Movies that take place in the 60s that are action-adventure is like robbing a young audience of being able to connect to it. Because you know who connects to the 60s? Fucking baby boomers.
That's right.
And I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? Like, enough.
I'm sick of their bullshit.
I don't want to go back to their fucking time and be like, yeah, what if it's the 60s, man, when free love was a bull, blah, 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 blah.
What if it wasn't?
Like, fucking stop it. I don't want to live your life anymore. So, like, you know what I mean? Like,
we've been doing it for 70 years.
That's enough. That is enough.
Yeah.
So, like, why are we going back in time to this shit? Why are we doing that?
I mean, it began because they wanted to show you how Professor X and Magneto met and became friends and eventually had a falling out.
It began because they wanted to be able to cast young, hot stars and do more X-Men movies.
Of course. Well, yeah, yeah.
Right. I mean, it began because they got Jennifer Lawrence, and because, what's the name of the guy who plays Professor X?
James McAvoy.
Both of those are very talented young actors. They're great. And Fassbender as Magneto. Those are three great casts.
It's a pretty awesome cast.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you know why there's going to be 100 more fucking movies in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Like, come on.
I don't mind.
It just makes me angry.
Yeah, I don't mind it that much. Because X-Men, for me, is peak 1980s, 1990s. That's my X-Men.
Well, that's because you were experiencing it in real time.
Right.
And that's fine.
Sure.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I love it. We obviously can't have Captain Picard doing this forever. I get it.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand that. But like, no more baby boomer shit. Like, just no more.
No more of that shit.
No more of it.
We don't need to go back to the 60s
I can't have
anymore. We can leave the 60s where they are.
Well, let's leave them behind.
Sure.
They're over now. It's been over.
What was your take on this trailer?
I just felt like there wasn't anything other... Like, it was a movie that relied entirely on me already knowing what it was about.
Very much so, yeah.
And I don't.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that intriguing. But I did find myself thinking, like, man, there's a lot of really good actors in this franchise.
There are.
And that seems like a shame to me. I just wish they were making something a little better, given how much talent they're putting behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that's like a little gripey, but like, it's a bummer that Jennifer Lawrence is like committed to being Mystique.
Well, I mean,
forever.
I don't think she's committed. She's committed until they stop throwing money at her. Like the first one worked out. The timing of the first one worked out, where she blew up right when the first one came out.
Right.
So then they're like, shit, now we got to pay her a lot more money.
Well, it's really interesting because Brie Larson's playing Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah.
And like we're just getting these like incredibly talented actors who are Academy Award
locking
winners
them
and
into
stuff.
Marvel movies.
Yeah.
That people were lamenting that about Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, he's locked in too.
Throw him into Star Wars. He was in Apocalypse. He was in X-Men Apocalypse.
Right. It's like it's this strange thing where it's like you're not really doing movies until you got a recurring part in one of these these franchises.
Yeah, like
that's weird. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer because you like to see, they got a good actor to play this character. That's cool. But it's like we're never going to see Robert Downey Jr. do a serious movie again.
I mean, why
Probably.
should he? He makes more money than I'll ever be able to see in my life every 5 minutes.
He makes dictator money doing these Marvel movies.
He really, but like again, and this is just for me growing up, I can't imagine Al Pacino as a superhero part.
Oh shit!
I can't imagine Robert De Niro or like go further back. Like you can't imagine Jimmy Stewart or somebody like that, like some classic actor, being like working all these great movies they were in, Rear Window and whatever else, and then like finally getting there and like doing Superman. You know what I mean? Like they just wouldn't be in those movies because that's not who they are as actors. And it's strange that, well, it doesn't matter that Brie Larson was incredible as a assault survivor in Room. Doesn't matter. She's going to be Captain Marvel.
Sure.
I'm like, okay. I'm not trying to take that away from her.
Oh, no.
I just feel like, is that what she wants to do? Is that who she wants to play?
It is kind of a bummer because these movies are so contractual that it's like you got to do 3 of them and it's going to take up the next 5 years of your life.
It doesn't bother me that guys like Chris Evans are doing... Chris Evans is Captain America, right?
He is.
Yeah. That doesn't bother me. Fine, be Captain America. He fits that part. It's a great part for him. He's not doing other stuff that I'm super like, wow, he was really great in this thing. Mm-hmm. But like, again, I'm going to use Brie Larson because it's the most recent example. Brie Larson is incredible in so many things. It's strange to see her then try to fit into this pretty bland, generic genre that's mostly about can you do stunts?
Yeah, I mean,
tough,
she was in that Kong movie too, which was not terrible.
You loved that Kong movie,
but it was loved it. It was sort of a waste of everyone's time in it. It was like
you loved it though.
I mean, it was fun.
I remember you being kind of hyped about it.
I'm super jazzed about this Godzilla movie. Let me tell you. But yeah, it was sort of an instance of like, why are you in this? Like, there's not much for you to do here.
It's like I don't mind that great actors are getting big paydays to be in stuff that's poppy. I don't mind that, but I also feel like there's nothing wrong with an actor not having a great career and not doing that. Like, I can't imagine Philip Seymour Hoffman having some fucking recurring bit in, fucking DC universe somewhere. I just can't see that.
He would have been a sweet penguin.
He would have been a great penguin. So you did it. He was in Mission Impossible.
He was in Mission Impossible.
But he wasn't always in Mission Impossible. He wasn't in it forever.
Sometimes he was in Happiness.
Right. Occasionally he was in Happiness. Yeah. What a great call. Man, you were great at pulling up the right movie. That's the one. That really cheered me up.
That's those Todd Solondz movies, man. Jesus.
Did you ever see Before the Devil Knows You're Dead?
No.
Okay. I'm going to, just for the audience's sake, that's a rough movie, so I can't recommend it to everybody. It's a haunting movie. It's haunting. His performance in it and Ethan Hawke's haunting. And it's incredible. And it's Sidney Lumet's last movie.
I feel like that's right.
It's so good. And you watch, you're like, holy shit, like an 80-year-old man made this movie? It's like really gutsy and like interestingly shot, and you got to see it. It's a great
check
film.
it out.
Yeah.
All right, next trailer, Bumblebee.
Yeah. I don't hate this.
I don't hate this.
I don't hate it.
I know it's from, I can't remember the director's name, but he's from the studio that made Kubo and Paranorman.
Yeah.
And like those are all really great movies.
Yeah.
So I'm bummed that he's not making Leica, I think is what it's called, or Leica, the studio. So I'm bummed he's not making another one of those movies, even though I understand those movies are very involved and have made progressively less money each time they do a new one.
Sure.
Which is a bummer.
Sure.
So I'm sort of interested to see what he does with a live action film like this.
I mean,
and it seems like,
but a lot of it isn't live action. I mean, a lot of it's drawing.
Yeah,
like the titular character is not there.
But I can see in what you in the trailer where you see a lot of the transformations and stuff.
Yeah,
like there's like joy in it again. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
Like they started doing
There's
a lot
joy
of
in it.
They started doing in the Michael Bay ones, which I've only seen I think 2.5 of them.
I saw 1, 2, 4.
There's 5 of them.
I've seen 3 of these. One of them I went to the theater because haha, let's watch a bad movie, and then, like the joke was on me. Really,
it really was.
Yeah. Like the movie laughed at me.
Michael Bay came up on screen and said, "Thanks for the money, Adam."
Yeah. And then ate it,
and you just felt terrible for the rest of the night.
He just took $13 and ate it.
Ate your $13.
It's like, I'm not even tasting this.
Put it in a hot dog bun. It got to the point in the later ones where sometimes the transformations would happen off screen. Like it just
like they were saving money. You think
it became rote? I think.
I mean,
it's like the robots and the series. It's called Transformers.
Right. So you want to see them transform?
What they do.
Yeah, I guess I would argue that you can't unsee or unknow a thing that you
true.
have seen and known. And the mechanics of how these Transformers work, as opposed to the toys from our childhood,
right,
are mystical and baffling.
Of course.
Like what these robots can do is like, well, you can't make a toy that does this shit.
Right. Like the toys had to... It couldn't create mass. Like it
had to do two things.
It had to use the same mass that
Correct.
it had.
Yeah, there was no like vortex in space and time to get a gun from nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, because of that problem, I'm not as interested in the transformation because it's just impossible magic.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's fun to watch the first time. It was fun. But after that, I don't care because how can I?
Another thing I liked about the trailer was that the Transformers were all like colorful and I could identify them.
Has that stopped being true? In
the Michael Bay ones, they redesigned most of the characters. Because I understand some of it. Like a part of what they said, at least I remember reading when the first one came out, like the effects team was like, we want to have the Transformers make sense in terms of, I know. But
false. They did not want that.
So that's why like Starscream has this ridiculous triangular body because they're like, well, we wanted to physically all the components of a plane have to fit into this person. So we were like, how do we do that? But I'm like, the fucking toy did it fine. But like,
yeah, why is this?
It would get to the point like watching those movies, I would lose. Like I know I can tell you Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And Bumblebee. The rest of it's a fucking crapshoot. I have no idea what robot is what.
What's the name of the bad one?
Megatron. But even Megatron was kind of...
I knew a Megatron, which one he was.
Well, yeah, because he looks like a demon.
I knew Starscream.
Starscream had that big triangle body, so he was...
It wasn't even... I mean, but also just... Starscream has a vibe. Starscream has an asshole vibe.
Is he in this? It looked like Starscream.
I thought it was. I said that when we were watching the trailer together. Starscream's a real chap ass.
He is. I fucking love Starscream.
Yeah, he's just not happy to be anywhere. He's not really having a good time.
Big time dickhead.
You really answered the question I was going to bring up, which is like, okay, so who among the Transformers do I care about? And I think we named the 4.
Yeah.
It's Optimus, Bumblebee, Megatron, and Starscream.
Pretty much.
I can't name any other ones.
I mean, there's a few. You saw Soundwave in the trailer for this one. He's the guy that has the tape deck.
Yeah, I guess people care about that.
I was delighted to reckon because it looked like the toy from the 80s.
It did look like the toy.
That's a main line right to this guy's brain.
When does this movie...
That looks like the toys.
When does this movie take place?
I'm not sure. It's a prequel to the LaBeouf years.
I saw a kid with a fro. So does that put it somewhere in that time, the 70s or whatever?
Could be 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
80s makes more sense because that's when the Transformers
were a thing. She's driving a Volkswagen Bug that's like an old school Bug.
So 70s or 80s.
Yeah. So I don't know. Why are we putting so many things back in the past? Why
I don't know.
That?
I honestly don't know.
Are like, is that fun for kids? Are kids like, wow? Are kids really excited about going to an older time in America as a setting for their modern robot movie or any movie?
I don't know. I can't answer that question, obviously.
Well, I'm curious about it because it's happening a lot.
I'm not sure if that's... I think that might be to target us old geezers.
There should never be a Transformer movie that is targeted for somebody over 35. I know that we watched it, but, like, there's no way they're going to get us to turn out for that. How could they? We're old assholes.
I have not watched a Transformer movie past the age of 35.
Because like you're embarrassed to go, no matter how fucking cool it is.
Well, it's just, I just don't care. Like the last ones, like the dinosaur one, and then like the last night when they're fucking going back in time.
That gets a cosmic shrug from me. Like
Yeah.
that is Sisyphus
Wait, are there
pushing
6?
the boulder. There's been a lot. I don't know how many there's been. There's been more than...
There can't be 6.
It's like, think how many there are, and then just do that number factorial, because that's how many there actually
right.
are.
There's been so many.
There's been 45 Transformers movies? Yes, and they all made all the money. You know, like...
Oh, my God.
Like 45 Transformers movies are in the top 10.
That's too many Transformers.
Right, they're cloning themselves, you know? Here's what it would take for me to go see a Transformers movie in the theater. You ready? For it to appeal to me? You ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm waiting.
I believe it would take a filmmaker who I knew was going to make fun of it. So, like, for instance, not exactly these guys, but if the South Park guys were like, we did a Transformers movie.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I would watch
Suddenly
that.
we got interested.
Yeah.
Suddenly I got real interested.
Yeah.
If David Lynch took on a Transformers movie, it was like...
no.
Yeah. If he was... That's right. David fucking Lynch. If he was like, you know, I saw the transforming and I thought to myself, what a great day it would be if they were also doing it with bunny faces. Like, just like, who knows?
Well, I don't understand this at all.
I don't know if I have a film here, but it's a series of images. I hope you enjoy it. It's like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
1 hour of its robot screams.
I mean, the Michael Bay ones are 3 hours.
They're so long.
so goddamn long.
There was one that I watched in the theater. I think it was Dark Side of the Moon or something.
That was
like that.
yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah. They had a wingsuit scene. Now, this wingsuit scene went on for like 15 minutes. It was like a huge battle. And it was the most bored I've ever been in an action sequence because you don't care about these characters at all. Like, they did no work to make you care about the characters. So by the time you don't have you have this action scene, it's like you're watching it almost like you're watching a science experiment. You're like, holy shit. Like, this guy put a lot of effort into these shots. They're amazing. They depict the most amazing things, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
remarkable
Yeah.
work that you don't care about. It's a real shame.
Yeah, it's a real shame. So I mean, John Cena's in this one.
That is a huge plus for me. Huge.
I am that Haley Steinfeld from True Grit.
Yeah, I like seeing her in a movie. She was great in True Grit.
Mm-hmm.
John Cena being in the movie, to me, that heightens the quality of this. I'll tell you why. I'm not a Cena fan, but I just like the fact that he has to really go for it. He has to really do it in this movie. And he has to hate the Transformers, which is like, there's no way John Cena
Even though I
hates
know
Transformers.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
I know John Cena loves
So
Transformers.
This is going to be the performance of a lifetime.
He's really going to have to dig deep.
I can't wait to see how he does it. He's going to have to resist throwing out that towel every fucking time. He's going to resist it.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're not going to
see him.
They're not going to be able to see him. You know that's happening.
If they don't put his theme song as the end credits of this movie, they are really fucked up.
It has to come up at some point.
Come on.
I will buy a ticket if they play his theme
If
song.
they put his theme song in it with him rapping, I will see this movie. If they have already done it, I will see that movie.
What if Soundwave starts playing his theme song?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, I'll chant John Cena sucks in a theater. I'm all for it.
Brand integration.
Meanwhile, Vince McMahon is doing a strut walk down the aisle,
he's doing that
collecting
fucking
his money because we're such dopes going to hear a theme we hear every Monday night.
You want to see John Cena? That's right. Pay me the money.
All right.
Last trailer, Creed 2 is a new trailer for Creed 2. Really is expository, whereas the first one was not really so much. This one really gives you a lot of story beats.
I knew exactly what was going to happen in this movie.
Sure.
I don't know. This is exactly what Rocky movies are.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like innovative cinema.
No.
But Rocky isn't. I mean, Creed kind of was. Creed was like just a little better than Rocky movies are. It's like Rocky 1 was a little better than Rocky movies are. You know, like Creed was in that, like it was like a real drama.
Yeah.
You know, this is a Rocky movie and it looks good.
Sure. I'm on board.
How long does Stallone survive in this series as Rocky? Does he die? Does he ever die?
He may Mickey himself out of there.
Well, he has cancer. In the story, he has cancer
Oh, right.
because he got it in Creed. You got to pay that off someday.
That's true, yeah.
So he's got to. Yeah, Mickey died in what, 3?
Yes.
So maybe that's what we're looking at. Creed 3. We finally
man.
finally have no more Rocky.
It's after Mr. T like shoves him or like kind of, you know, does one of those fake outs to Mickey and Burgess Meredith's like, ah! And then and then he dies and Stallone just lets out this torrent of it's like it's not at all meant to be funny,
but it is.
but it's funny.
Real fun. Of course. That's the 80s. That's the whole decade.
Yes, that's the entire 80s.
Just really quick question. Have you watched that Batman movie yet in your series where they had a fight on a penguin sub?
It's coming up.
Okay. I want to talk to you once you've seen it in real life. I want to have a conversation with you about that sub and like the history of my family. Because like,
Yes.
we watched that movie and we imitated that submarine fight more than any other game we played as children. That fucking submarine fight on that penguin sub
With the real cat.
where everybody gets put in the ocean and keeps climbing back up on the sub and then
Yeah.
getting knocked off again.
Literally
It's
every
so
character.
stupid.
Every
It's
character
so
gets
dumb.
kicked in the water.
It's really good. Anyway,
There's a portion where Batman's running around with a live cat and they're throwing it back and forth.
that is a real bad movie.
Yeah.
That movie's really
it's
bad.
something else.
Going back and watching those old Batman movies and shows, it's like, oh boy, like Tim Burton did everyone a favor when he reinvented Batman in 1989. Anyway,
So yeah,
Creed 2 looks fine.
It looks fine. I'm not got nothing against it.
I think this. I said this to you when we were watching the trailer. I think they should make Creed movies till they make a bad one.
Yeah.
Make them till they make a bad
Till
one.
you make a Rocky 5.
Yeah. There's no reason not to make it. And I will say, I was saying this to you, I feel like both the characters that are boxing in this movie are like two boxers in terms of muscle mass.
Each one.
They're huge.
So that combined, they're 4 boxers.
Yeah. It's like a real like quadrangle of boxers in there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of muscle mass.
Enormous dudes.
Like, go watch heavyweight boxers. They don't look like giant superheroes.
No, they don't look like Michael B. Jordan.
Right. Not even like the Klitschko's or like fucking Mike Tyson. Like, those guys look like muscular, trim men. They're just big. These guys look like they look like bodybuilders.
They look like superheroes.
Yes, they look like superheroes. I think they're getting away with it because we haven't had a heavyweight fight in America in a long ass time.
I mean, it's movies, and they basically are.
Right.
They always were superheroes in the Rocky movies.
Yeah, and they were always really ripped. That's right. They were always dumb.
They're always really ripped. I mean,
Yeah.
Stallone
was huge and dumb ripped.
in the Rocky movies, in my memory, he wasn't ever as huge. Like if you watch, it was most staggering when you watch the first 3 Rambo movies, and then you watch the new one he made in like
insane.
2008.
Yeah.
It's like wow. Like I mean, he was trim and
Right.
like, you know, etched out of diamond or whatever in
Right.
like Rambo 2 and Rambo 3, but then like in the new Rambo, it's like he's been taking that HGH.
Yeah.
He's just like a mountain.
He looks like Triple H when he got injured and
Yeah.
lost, like, and his knee was hurt for
And
a
all
year.
he could do is lift.
and he came back and he was like 7 feet wide. It was like, what the fuck?
Well, he injured his knee as like
Yeah.
the blue blood, and he
You
came
remember that?
back. He came
Yeah.
back as the game.
Yeah, he really did.
The
Yeah.
king of kings.
He really did. He really did it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So, yeah,
they look
Creed
like
too.
professional wrestlers. They're that buff.
yeah, they do. They're
Yeah.
enormous,
Yeah.
huge dudes.
You-
So if you like fucking swole ass dudes boxing,
Why not?
watch Creed 2.
I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Why not? I'm okay with it. By the way, can we get heavyweight boxing back over here? Like, can we finally get away from those damn Russians?
It's not on the doc, but I just read something this week where HBO is not going to be doing live boxing.
Because they're not making any money on it.
Yeah.
You know why? There's no heavyweight boxing anymore. You know why there isn't heavyweight boxing anymore?
Why?
Because the Russians took it. Not a joke. They took
Russians.
it. The fucking Klitschko brothers have held on to the heavyweight title for 14 years. Have I done this rant here before?
That's very long.
They've had it for. They won't box anybody over here. Fucking Russians, they took it. That's what happened.
Took it and went home.
I get really worked up about this. It's like, bring boxing back, you son of a bitch. Not even because I think it's good for us. I just like, Russians can't have that.
Yeah.
We're not giving that
It
to
doesn't
them.
belong to you.
No. You
Rocky
come over
IV.
and box us, motherfucker. Yeah.
Okay, so stories. Just a couple.
Yeah.
Just have a handful.
Sure. Just a gaggle of stories.
This is a weird one. They're apparently there's an untitled Deadpool movie that's scheduled for release in December, and the rumor is that it's a PG-13 recut of Deadpool 2 with potentially some new footage. That's weird.
Why is that happening?
I don't know.
I mean, theaters re-releasing movies is not new. They've done it before.
In the same year? Well, sometimes.
I think Jaws did it. I think.
Well, that was a different time too.
Sure,
when home
but,
video wasn't a thing.
Right, but if people will pay for it, then how dumb is it really?
Ryan Reynolds tweeted a picture of him dressed up as Peter Falk in Princess Bride, reading to adult Fred Savage, wearing the old Bears jersey.
Right.
So if they're, I can't fathom what this is going to be.
Well, I do like Deadpool. I think it's one of the better series.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of originality, as I think I have demonstrated since time began on this podcast.
You are.
To me, this is the test of will people pay for it. That's what this is about. Will people pay for this?
Based on that image, and the fact that the Disney buying 20th Century Fox deal finally went through.
Sure.
My guess is that they're doing some kind of meta Disney-friendly version of Deadpool 2.
Fine. I mean, Deadpool is like a cheat code for this kind of shit.
It really is.
Because you can put anything in the poster and it's on target.
Yeah.
Any advertisement is on brand for Deadpool as long as it's smart ass.
Yeah.
That's the only criteria. So, and people are going to drink it up. They will drink that shit up. Mm-hmm. And how long ago did Deadpool 2 come out? A year?
May this year.
It was this year?
Yeah.
Boy,
it was a few months ago.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if people go see it, then they're smarter than us.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they'll get what I hope they deserve. I don't think that we should be able to do that. But
yeah, that seems egregious.
It seems greedy, like so many things in the film business seem. Mm-hmm. This is even more of that. Just recut a movie, re-release it.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! Are people gonna go see that? If they do, then what can I say?
They'd have to come up with some compelling reason.
If they do, then we're gonna get PG-13 Terminator 2. We're gonna get.
We have the past several Terminators.
No, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If a recut can make money, it's that's a whole new genre thing. But that's a little bit fear talking. But that's a whole new genre thing.
But Deadpool can do it in a meta way.
Okay.
So
how long until it's not a meta way?
That's true.
But
it's the
only
only thing that I could conceive of that would be appealing about that is if they are very much aware of the fact that we're doing this as a Disney-friendly thing to make more money.
It's you can be aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
You're still doing it.
Right, exactly.
So
it doesn't excuse you from doing the thing.
Don't do it.
We say that a lot on the show.
Right. I mean, or on every show.
Acknowledging the thing doesn't excuse you from doing the thing.
Being aware that you're doing a monstrous act doesn't make you not a monster.
Boy, I really should quit stabbing this guy. Am I right?
Exactly. Exactly. There's going to be a Sesame Street movie.
Yeah.
What do you want out of a Sesame Street movie?
I don't know.
Just all the characters in a story?
Yeah. They say it's a musical. I'm down with that.
It should be a musical.
It should be a musical. It's weird that there hasn't been a Sesame Street ensemble movie. I know there's been Follow That Bird, and there's been the Elmo movie.
Right.
To my knowledge, that's it.
It seems like the ideal Sesame Street movie is a story where it's either an origin story of Sesame Street or it's the story of Sesame Street gets shut down and they got to bring it back to life.
Yeah,
right. Those are the two.
Something's coming in. Some developer is coming in to level Sesame Street or some shit.
Thank God we stopped that and kept the street Sesame.
Kept the streets Sesame.
Exactly.
That was a really quick one. I was just grabbing stuff really, really quick today.
Well, I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't have a lot of legs because we don't know what it is. Now, if I found out it was they're going to kill off a major character, Bert, then I'd have to go. If they pull a Simpsons, season 6 of The Simpsons,
Would they kill Maude?
They were going to kill, or no, somebody shot Mr. Burns, so Mr. Burns is supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Okay, so you need to talk about this.
I'll talk about this one. Okay, so there's been a lawsuit between the original screenwriter for the original Friday the 13th film and the producers and director of Friday the 13th. Now, the reason why this is important to me is that if you follow us in any capacity, you know that we play a lot of the Friday the 13th game that came out recently. which was doing free updates and such, but then they had to stop because this lawsuit threw the rights into dispute. And it looks like they've ruled, the judge has ruled in favor of the original screenwriter.
Well, it's this weird loophole, right? Where
Yeah.
after 35 years, an author of a published work can retract the given rights to it.
Yeah, so basically when you write a thing, you grant, let's say, world rights, which gives whoever purchases it and publishes it rights to sell it around the world and publish it around the world.
Right. And it's very unusual for that to be done in a film because it's like it's really hard to reverse that.
I assume it's because the first Friday the 13th was a micro-budgeted film made by a handful of people.
I think that's part of it, and also because the producers are disputing that they hired him to work. He wrote it on spec essentially for them,
right?
Or not on spec, for hire. And he's arguing that he didn't, and that is the difference between whether or not it's owned by the producers, and therefore the rights can't be retracted, or owned by the author.
Yeah, that basically for hire means that it wasn't his idea. Like he was. They had an idea and they hired him to write it, and he's arguing that it was his idea.
Power's going to the writers these days because we had that Purge story a while back.
Oh yeah,
where like that guy who sent that email way back when.
Yeah,
seems like he's going to get all that Purge money,
which is kind of dumb. Because it's like...
I don't think it's dumb if he did it.
I mean...
If he sent him that movie idea...
Sure.
Then he deserves the money.
But the idea itself is a Star Trek episode. So? And I'm sure that's not even the first time that idea showed up. So it's like...
Sure. I mean, you know.
Sure. I mean, if the guy ripped off his idea, fuck him. But it's like... Let's not be so like, that was my idea. It's like, no, it was Star Trek's idea.
I don't know the history of the Purge as a concept.
Yeah.
I grant you that that's true.
Sure.
Just in a basic legal sense,
right?
When somebody violates the good faith effort, they deserve to lose
person.
all their Purge money.
Yeah.
That's it.
You don't get those Purge bucks.
Yeah, doesn't matter if this other guy was smart enough to rip off Star Trek first.
I just want to be able to keep playing my Jason game. That's all I want.
Well, of course. I mean, they're not going to take it away, right?
Well, I don't think they can, but they're not allowed to develop anything new for it. And if it decides in this guy's favor, I get the feeling he's going to be a bit of a trash goblin about it and
or
be
just,
like, you can make more stuff if you pay me $1 million. Like,
yeah, you might end up having to pay for a DLC. Like, that's how they'll solve it. Is like, he'll be like, okay, so if you want to actually have the set from Jason Goes to Hell or whatever, or Manhattan, like if you want to go to Manhattan and have the killing there, right, exactly. Then, they got to pay $14 for a DLC pack, and I get my sweet.
I get a wet
Voorhees
my beak.
dollar.
I get a taste. Get a wet my Jason beak.
Yeah, that's what happens. And like honestly, I don't think that's that unfair at this point. It's been out for so long.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like 2 years. It's been like 2 years.
Yeah, it came out like last summer. Yeah,
Destiny, you're paying every 5 minutes to keep playing that game.
Destiny.
No. Destiny fucks you, bro.
Yes, it does. That's that fucking Activision.
It's a sweet game. Sweet game.
Also, Dave and I we're gonna write some Jason movies. We may still.
You should.
We'll just write them.
That's right in your zone.
Yeah,
it's right in your wheelhouse. You should do that.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
So you guys can look forward to that.
I feel like honestly, you could probably whip one out in a week. Like honestly, you
probably
could. They're not complicated.
There's not a lot to it.
No, it's like 5 beats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, this last piece.
Yeah, this is just a quick thing I threw in there.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy is renewed to run Lucasfilm for 3 more years. What's interesting to me about this headline is that people apparently assumed because Solo was not a success that she might not get to stay running Lucasfilm, which is like, well, how fucking reactionary is this business?
Man.
Because she's steering a pretty successful ship right now.
Right, and she's also like a storied producer.
Right, and like...
been in the business for decades.
To me, it's like, okay, like, you had to know if you're going to make a Star Wars movie every 5 minutes. Sometimes people aren't going to want to see Star Wars if you don't come up with the right concept. Is it Kathleen Kennedy's job to make sure every fucking Star Wars piece of trash that we swallow that thing whole? Who could possibly do that? No one could do it.
No.
So, like, why don't people have realistic expectations about that?
I don't know. Maybe
that's dumb.
Maybe the news behind, since they've also been saying that they're going to stop doing a Star Wars a year, and they're reevaluating their strategy.
So they freaked right the fuck out.
They
immediately
really did.
They freaked out about about Solo. I mean, like, was nobody in the room just saying, like, at some point there's going to be diminishing returns on Star Wars?
I don't know. I think we talked about it at the top of the podcast. They have the idea of, oh, Star Wars is infinite. You can do anything, but they just keep doing the same thing. So it's like, well, if you keep doing that,
they do really save things.
We're gonna stop caring.
Well, I mean, if I was only allowed one rant on this show, as this is my thesis rant.
Yeah,
it's stop giving us the same thing our parents got as entertainment.
Yeah,
give us our own stories, and this is the antithesis of that to me. The fact that it's expected of Kathleen Kennedy to make a movie for baby boomers, continually interesting to our generation and the younger generations. Mm-hmm. And if she doesn't, it's up in the air whether they're going to they're generous for continuing her run. Is like, what backwards ass thinkers are these?
I'm taking this more as she decided to.
She renewed her deal, like she was the active agent there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's true, then I don't blame her for second-guessing that conversation.
Yeah, being like, do I want to run Star Wars?
I mean, it's probably just an amount of money you can't say no to.
I'm sure, yeah.
Like, what do you think she makes? How much do you think that is?
Oh,
is that in this? Let's see if it's in the news article.
I mean, I know she does play an active role. Like, she's the one that pulled. Oh shit. Trevorrow.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of money at stake for what she does.
Oh yeah.
Because Star Wars, they paid $4 billion for it to George Lucas, and it's made a little more than that already. And which is crazy. That's a lot. And since that time, they've made almost $4 billion, which is crazy. But every time she decides to change a movie or whatever, or pull one, it's like that's almost $1 billion.
Well, I think he was going to do. Colin Trevorrow was going to do the next episode.
Yeah,
and he apparently was just trying to swing his rate around because he's like, I got that Jurassic World hit money, and they were just like, no, you can get out of here.
They probably watched Jurassic World. It's probably not as hard of a call once you've seen the movie.
You're like, this isn't very good.
Yeah. Could we get a brontosaurus screaming as it dies? Oh, we got that. That didn't make me happy.
Nah, he didn't direct that one, but
doesn't matter. He was around it.
Oh, he was.
He saw it. I'll never forgive that.
He put pen to paper.
He wrote down, not brontosaurus, because that's not a real.
Sad brachiosaur.
Sad brachiosaur perishes, crying its demise as a heathen horde on a boat watches ignorantly as it happens. There's going to be a 5th Indiana Jones movie, according to this article.
I know.
That's disturbing.
I mean, especially since it keeps getting pushed back. And it's like, guys, he's going to be a skeleton by the time you decide to make this movie.
Spielberg's going to direct it.
Also,
yeah,
he's getting up there.
Is he 80 yet?
No.
He's in his 70s, though.
Yes.
That's pretty old. Mm-hmm. You get in your 70s, it's hard to make a film, I think.
I think so, too.
I would think. I mean, I know Robert Altman made that Garrison Keillor one when he was like 80.
Ridley Scott just made an Alien movie, and he's in his fucking 80s.
Is he in his 80s?
I believe so.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's so vivacious.
That's true.
He's he felt like he's felt like he was 40 years old for 80 years.
Yeah, right.
Like
for 40 years.
He was born middle-aged.
Yeah.
Just mature and strange visual artist.
The dude came out of the womb looking like that.
Fully bearded,
just a
dignified
grown man. Yeah.
English.
Very British.
Nobody had to teach him his accent. He came out with it perfectly.
Yeah.
Why not? I don't know. I got nothing against Kathleen Kennedy.
No.
It's like I think it's an impossible task that she has to manage.
Yeah, it's not an enviable task, which is why I'm sure you get lots of money.
What if you were paid the same amount of money as your job at Cracked to run that business?
No.
You wouldn't do it, right? You would only do it for the money.
You would have to be seriously compensated because that's...
What if it was regular hours? It's regular hours and you're getting paid the same money as your job at Cracked.
Man, I don't know, because you got to deal because everything's your fault too.
The pressure.
Yeah, I don't want to be getting screamed at by who the hell runs Disney? Iger?
I just feel like, yeah, that's an issue. I feel like it can't. How fun could that job be? What's the most fun that job can be?
I don't. The fun would be in going out and finding new filmmakers who have exciting ideas about a Star Wars film and then letting them do it. That would be the fun part. But that's not
I don't think
really
that's
what
fun.
they're doing.
I think it's fun when you are the exciting filmmaker and make the Star Wars.
Right, but I'm not a filmmaker. That's
Right, that's
you're
fair.
asking me what would be exciting for me. It's like I would look for somebody who give the kid a shot, or somebody had like a cool idea for a
Yeah.
Star Wars movie.
So the green lighting of other people's visions would be
yeah,
exciting
and then
for you.
sort of like kind of watching it and like,
Right.
as I said, she plays an active role in these movies.
Well, she has to.
oh, yeah.
So much money at stake.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's an arrangement nobody's pleased with.
No, it's
Like-
not great. It's not ideal.
Like, what must it be like for her and for Rian Johnson to be on the set of Force Awakens? You know what I mean? Like, Rian Johnson probably wants to control that all and can't. And she probably wants it to be a Rian Johnson joint, but can't let it be.
Well, he did Last Jedi, not Force Awakens.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, because I feel like J.J. Abrams is not as much of a risky thing for that collaboration.
He's the most milquetoast.
He's a professional
Yeah.
filmmaker. He's very good at it.
He's like a Richard Donner. Just a dude that you like hire to
think-
handle a production this size and get it done.
I think we all should respect his ability to tell a visually engaging story in a way that does not bother us. That is not easy to do. That's
No,
really,
no, he's not trash.
he's
just,
good. He's a
just,
B director. He's
yeah,
good.
He's
You know,
just very. Again, I said Richard Donner just because it's like
because you don't remember his work.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, he made a movie that was competent and
Sure.
executed the way it was supposed to be executed. It's a perfect 4-quadrant film. Like-
J.J. Abrams is an effective remover of the director as a problem. He removes that as a problem for anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I can
J.J.
see
Abrams
that.
directs a thing, you don't worry about whether the story will make sense or the shots will be good, or you don't worry about that
Right.
stuff.
They're going to be
The floor
Fine.
is high.
Yeah.
The floor is high. But Rian Johnson was the promise that the ceiling would be high. And I would argue that turned out not to be true.
I would agree with that.
So like, what's it like for him and Kathleen Kennedy on that set?
I don't know.
It's probably not fun. Probably not fun for either of them. Maybe it's great. Maybe they loved working together. Maybe it was a good collaboration.
don't
It
know.
just seems like it would be soul crushing to me.
Well, the fact that she's renewed it for 3 years was sort of surprising to me. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't even realize it would be renewed this soon.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like
So
it's
maybe
like
it is
football
kind of a
contracts.
shit job.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like it's like football contracts where it's like, sure, there's a contract, but like we're gonna keep really evaluating you every year in
Yeah.
some ways.
Also, your knees may explode.
Right, right. And I think your career might explode if you're her.
Yeah.
If the next one bombs, like that might be it.
Maybe, I don't know.
So-
I feel like she's got enough hits under her belt over the years. Just her working
That's
with
probably
Spielberg for so long, and
I don't feel like she gets the credit for that stuff much, though, does she? Maybe this is the credit. Maybe this job is the credit for that. Maybe that's what the money's for. you know?
yeah, it's like that's what the money's for. So we're Daveless this week, so there's no movie that deserves more hype.
It's okay. I think Dave deserves more hype.
Dave deserves all the hype. Right now, he's sitting in a little cabin somewhere in the woods.
How many Red Bull cans are laying crushed at his feet right now? Is it
He's-
over or under 5?
I think right around 5.
So 5's the over under.
But yeah.
Yeah,
It
that makes it hard to bet.
It's definitely growing.
You call Vegas up and say like how many cans they're going to give you 5. That's what they're going to give you, and you have to bet over or under that. It's gonna be tough. Yeah, don't call Vegas till you're ready, till you know where you land on that.
That's true. Yeah, there's a forest of cans around, just a forest of liquid energy.
It turns out to be 50. It just turns
It's a pallet.
It turns out he went to Costco and he just drained them all.
Right, he's put his sleeping bag on top of all the Red Bulls. He's sleeping on a pallet of Red Bull.
I hope he's doing that.
He better
God
be.
bless
There's
him.
no other reason for him to be in the wilderness.
I want to hear his Macaulay stories. I need to be around when he tells Macaulay stories.
I'm sure he'll
That's very
probably
exciting
do
for
some
me.
of it on a show, maybe. I don't know.
Macaulay Culkin just did a ballsy thing. He sent his resume to J.K. Rowling to be in her next film.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that move. I
Yeah.
was like, all right, man.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I dig what you're doing. I dig it.
It's
He gets it.
he does.
Yeah, he
he
gets it.
does. It's,
He's fun.
It's fun. It's been fun to work for him.
Yeah, that's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So yeah, thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate
You
it.
bet, man. That's a Hypecast.
It is a Hypecast.
That's
You got anything you want to plug?
Well, of course, all of you can come and see the podcast that Mike Swaim and I host, One Upsmanship, on the Small Beans channel. You can check out my Twitter at The Real Gans. You can check out my website where all my all of the cracked films that I've stolen and calling my own
Yes.
are hosted, which is www.ganserfilms.com. You can see that and a reel that was cut. If you see me in the street, you can high five me. If you find out my address, be prepared to get shot. Those
That took a turn.
yeah, didn't it? Didn't it? I'll never own a gun. Will you ever own a gun?
No.
I can't see why. I can't see that happening. Too dark of a revelation?
Yeah. I'm never gonna. It's fine.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. What I need one for?
Yeah.
If we get to the point in this world where I need to carry a gun,
We're in real
I'm
trouble.
done. Yeah, we're all in serious trouble.
Have you ever had you probably did because you're in Virginia. I had the friend who was like, hey man, do you want to go to the shooting range as like a thing to do one afternoon?
No, but people would go to the shooting range.
Of course.
I was not invited because
you had a strong stance against it.
well, no, I've just never been a gun person.
It's not your thing. It's a weird moment when you're like, oh, you shoot guns.
those
You shoot guns.
Okay.
Like, that's fun to you.
Sure.
Because I don't get that. Anyway,
I don't know.
we got real political.
We did a little bit.
Dave didn't anchor us.
He didn't
with his glee.
with his ghoulish glee. All right, so that's an episode.
Adios.
Bye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, CORLEW, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info. Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.